Hey friends, welcome to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. We're your hosts and resident foodies and lovers of all things travel and exploration.
Grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and enjoy the journey with us.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Taste Toast Travel. I'm Tara.
And I'm John.
And we have a story today. It's a hell of a story. If you've seen it on Netflix or a little inkling of it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But before we get to that, we have a couple little bits and pieces of news.
Chat.
Yeah, a little chat pertaining to the food, wine, travel, beverage, hospitality industries.
Yeah.
We'll kick it off to you.
So,
to start us off.
Your favorite Duchess of Sussex launched her
Favorite being
the
operative
only
word
one.
there.
Her rosé wine, and it comes on the coattails of, I guess, every famous / almost famous celebrity that has released alcohol.
Don't get me started. Oh my god!
It was like, tequila for a long time. It was vodka.
I noticed George Clooney, Kendall Jenner, like all these.
Everyone released.
Ryan Reynolds
with
aviation, although we do love aviation gin.
There's been so many.
Oh, there's so many. Yeah.
Yeah.
A ton of
tequila
that
brands
released wines as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt with their rosé.
Oh, did they do one?
Yeah. Well, theirs was
funny.
from Provence,
Mm-hmm.
and so then Meghan Markle just launched hers from Napa Valley.
Good
You
old
heard of it?
Love it.
I know
Been
that
there
one.
once or twice.
Me too.
Says the man who grew up there.
So yeah, I don't know how many cases they made of it. It doesn't say like an actual number, like how much was made, but it sold out. It said it completely sold out in 30 minutes.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
I honestly was not sure
people-
how it was going to sell because she's, no matter what that woman does, people
She's kind of controversial.
hate on her.
I know people hate on her, and then they're like, "We're drinking her rosé."
I'm starting to feel kind of bad, honestly,
For
because then
her?
it was like because it was like the
Kinda brings it
Netflix
on herself.
the Netflix show, which frankly I have not watched. I've only seen
I heard it's cringy.
it's. And I've shown you some reels and like TikToks and stuff that people make, like essentially basically making fun of her. It's like my whatever jam from the garden, and it's like jam from the store. I don't know, like it's. But she just
and then you bring that up.
like,
so she
should probably watch that
she
before.
launched 2 other products. One was it was like a honey.
Okay.
It was like a honey something or other.
Honey or
And
jam
then-
or something like
Yeah,
that.
she has a jam and like a honey, and those sold out in 30 minutes too.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What is up with people? That's so funny.
Mhm.
So people like hate on her so hard, yet
They
well,
still
maybe not
love
that
her.
many people hate her. I don't know.
People
Or
hate
they're
on.
just-
Yeah, I mean,
That's so
they
funny.
pretend like they hate on them. Like, there's so many people that hate on Taylor Swift but secretly love her.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Well, I don't know. Swifties die hard, but yeah, no, that's so true. I wonder how it is, honestly. What was the vineyard or what was the winery that? Because they always like partner with a winery, right? So, what was a winery that she partnered with to do that? Did you look it up? I had
know
looked
the
it up.
Exact,
Hold on, I'll try and look it up
winemaker
really
she
quick.
partnered with, but the name of it is As Ever.
As Ever.
Not the name I would have gone with, but
There's got to be.
what do I know? I've never sold a bottle of rosé, so
there's something to
she
that.
sells hers out.
Well, it's her lifestyle brand, As Ever. So it's a 2023 vintage, a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Mourvedre, Grenache, and Syrah. It's described as light, fresh, and effortlessly celebratory. Oh,
She-
God. Designed to capture the essence of summer moments.
She just released her 23.
It's a 2023 vintage, I guess. Yeah,
It's late.
for a rosé,
Yeah, should have came out in like February.
a little
Or-
bit. But I mean, well, she was probably trying to capture the whole summer thing. That's kind of the point, I think. You know what I mean? Like,
I
it's not,
guess.
well, I mean, literally what it just said is like, and I'm reading this from somewhere. It's supposed to be, designed to capture the essence of summer moments.
Mm.
So
They sold it. I think
That
it
was
was
very
like
strategic, I
it was
think.
like in different packages. Like you get a bottle, or you can get like a 3-pack, a 6-pack, or a case. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. The wine was sold in 3 bottle packs for $90 with shipping costs.
30 bucks a
Wow.
bottle.
Okay.
Not bad.
No, that's not bad. Interesting. Future plans, a sparkling wine and other varietals are planned for the future. So wow, she's like really in on this. Honestly, good, smart on her. I mean, you can kind of hate on her.
Strike while the iron's hot, I guess.
Yeah. I don't Meghan Markle's funny.
I don't really have anything against her.
I don't either. I mean, loved her and loved her in Suits as a strong.
I never think about her. So like
yeah, no,
she doesn't take up
really.
any space in my mind. Like
I will say, as a millennial woman, speaking of wine, we're both drinking some, so excuse us how this is all going to go. But we are drinking a beautiful Pinot Noir from Anderson Valley. Anyway, so I appreciate kind of her, I guess, vibe of like, slow moments and, times with family and things like that.
It just
I
forced
like that
to me.
Sure.
It
yes.
seems like she's like forcing it and it's not like genuine.
Yes, I think a lot of people, well, apparently not that many people because people still buy your shit, but they feel it's forced and a little disingenuous and kind of just trying too hard.
I would imagine they made maximum 500 cases.
I wish.
There's no way they made more than that.
Yeah.
They'll probably make a lot more next run. Like a lot. But I bet you they didn't make that much wine.
Full cases. I'm just trying to like quickly look this up. Method Champenois.
1,200 bottles.
Sparkling wine is coming. Oh, that's interesting. Gosh, I'm trying to find the winery that it came from. I will find that. Do you want to talk about the date that it released, though?
I thought that was pretty interesting. It came out on Princess Diana's birthday.
Yeah.
Which the British people already hate Meghan Markle's guts. And then you like essentially like try and upstage like arguably the most beloved British person in history.
1,000%. Yeah. Other than like the Queen, I guess. But,
and I mean, obviously to her, she's like not trying to upstage her. She might have been like, oh, well, I'm trying to like,
what I said to you
in her memory or something like that.
When you told me that, what I pretty much immediately said was, there's no way that was not a coincidence. There's no way that Harry wasn't in on it and wasn't okay with it.
Because that was Harry's mom, right?
Sweetie, are you kidding me right now?
I don't know how the monarchy works.
I can't even with you.
I don't.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Harry
okay,
and Meghan's mother.
Yes. So I was right.
Lord Almighty.
I don't care enough about the royal family.
Wow.
We threw their tea in the bay.
I'm a royalty family girl. I was obsessed. Okay, we're getting really off topic here. I will just say I was like, still love Kate Middleton, but I was like obsessed with her, and people would be like,
Kate Middleton seems like she has a stick up her butt all the time.
No, well, she just knows how to operate.
Yeah, she's just a very like proper like.
But you know what?
I would hate to go to a party with her, but I'd love to go to a party with Meghan.
I disagree. I think
Meghan would be so much fun at a party. Kate Middleton would be like,
no,
the Chardonnay isn't the right temperature.
Oh, no. I totally disagree
with
that. No, she is more of the people than you probably know, I think. Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Meghan Markle would be so much fun at a party.
Okay.
She'd have way better stories, just saying.
I don't know about that.
But of course she does. All the Hollywood, Suits was like one of the most famous shows at the time when it was on. She probably like has some crazy fun stories.
Yeah.
Bet she went to a Diddy party.
Oh my God. Okay. No, we're not going down that rabbit hole. No. Absolutely not. I'm going to stop you right there. Anyway, I found out the collaboration and who it is with. It's with Fairwinds Estate. So it's
never heard of them.
I was going to say. Yeah, literally, you guys were from here, and I've never actually heard of Fairwinds Estate.
That happens a lot, though.
But they're a Calistoga winery with numerous collaborations, ranging from the University of Houston to Barry Manilow to the Yellowstone TV show. Who knew?
All wine aficionados.
That's funny. Yeah. How odd.
Yeah, what a weird thing.
Yeah, so
what a weird thing to be known for.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're probably cashing in, so good for them. But anyway, yeah, so that we really should. She's also been known to enjoy Flowers Pinot. I remember our experience at Flowers. We had a lovely time.
It was a pretty place.
Yeah, we were like the only ones there that day. It was really cool. We did a really great food and wine pairing. Mm-hmm. It was very good. Yeah, by the way, if you're ever up there, definitely check out Flowers. Random aside, but yeah. So There's that. Yeah, we definitely need to watch her Netflix show, I think.
I would
Well,
rather not.
okay, you're definitely
You
not
can
going
watch
to.
it, I guess.
I will watch a little bit perhaps and report back in another episode on how it is. I don't know. Yeah, I like lifestyle-y
It wasn't even
things.
her
It sparks
house,
joy for me, but
which is a weird thing for me.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's not her house. It's not. She
I
doesn't
guess
live there,
oh, that's a little strange. But I mean,
and she's trying to be
for
like, this is cozy, and it's
privacy
like
and
it's
things
not even
kinda
your
makes sense,
house.
but
You
yeah.
don't even get cozy there. What are you doing?
Okay, that is a little bit
It's
funny.
strange.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Like I
strange.
get it, like the privacy and all that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
it's
mean,
like if
yeah.
you're gonna do a lifestyle thing about like family,
Mhm.
cozy, you know, all your farm to table, like
Yeah.
this and that, like
That is kind of funny that
it's
it's
like
outsourced.
yeah, you're like doing it
house
at a random house that you
Airbnb.
yeah, like you like rented this
That is
home
a little
to
bit
pretend
funny.
like it's I don't know. It's
Yeah, God
just,
knows what like the setup of their kitchen is, and it's like a whole thing. But oh my God,
I wish Harry would have been in it.
I know. I'm dying to see more of him. I don't even know what he does now. Honestly, probably some like
Probably tries to like
humanitarian
make
stuff
money
and like yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Kept
because
a lower
they're cut
profile.
off.
I hear like random things in the news occasionally, or like I don't know. It's so like tabloidy though. It's like trying to get back on the royal family or trying to get a hold of his dad, and his, Prince Charles won't respond to messages or whatever. I don't know.
Man, what if they
Who knows
divorce
what to
one day?
believe?
That would be crazy.
That
What a
would
waste
be
of
something.
time for him.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
You
but-
can't now. I mean, you have to just
Yeah,
live with that the rest
he's
of your
like too
life.
far into it.
Because like if you got divorced, everyone would be like, "Told
It's
you."
like, dude,
Told you
you've
so.
like burned that bridge so
you
hard.
just
though.
like left the royal family. Like
Yeah.
you
That is the one that I don't know, but the royal family, we're going way off topic here. But I will say, like there is a toxicity that seems to be, and there's definitely things that have come out about like the queen and now.
I'm sure
king
it's
that,
like a very difficult thing to be a part of a lot of the time, but I'm sure there's some really cool
and I feel
things
bad. I
about
think
it.
Harry always sort of felt not super loved, super accepted. Like his mom was like, Princess Di was his kind of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like,
he's the youngest.
just-
That's how it always is in the royal family.
Yeah.
His brother's
Sure,
older.
some
He's
of them.
like,
He's
in line
gonna
with
be
the throne.
king.
Like
Yeah.
that's how it's always been throughout history. That's why younger brothers kill older brothers.
Yeah. Well, you heard about the whole comment of like his hair color and stuff when he came out. Did you hear about any of this? So, swear we'll actually get to the story that we have today. Yeah. So basically, this is God knows if this is actually true. This is what I've heard and rumors, whatever. That Prince Charles was like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
Number one, disappointed it wasn't a girl. He really wanted a girl. And number two, that he came out with red hair.
yeah.
And I think he even said something to the effect of like, oh, he's a ginger, oh, he's whatever. I don't know. I'm misquoting.
I wonder where the red hair came from.
Oh, it happens. There was a kid I went to high school with. His brothers one was blonde, one was brunette, and he was red hair. It happens.
Yeah, I know, but like,
I mean,
Princess Di was
I'm talking like I know
Princess
what I'm
Di
talking
was
about.
like a dirty blonde.
Yeah.
And then
blonde, dirty blonde.
her
God knows. I don't know what. I don't know. It could be.
He was
in the
wasn't
family.
he a brunette?
Who, Prince Charles?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I can't remember what he was when he was young. It just, it happens. There could be red hair and somewhere along the line in the
Prince
family.
Charles was a brunette.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dark hair. No, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to try it. Probably won't, but maybe one day.
I know I won't.
I do love a good rosé though, so I don't know.
I'll drink the wine.
It's an
see what it's like.
interesting blend.
How bad could it be? It's a rosé.
It's not. Well, first of all, no, it's sold out, but it's also just like not super readily available. So,
Ooh, I bet you can find it on eBay for hella expensive.
oh God, you're probably right.
Oh well, you can't sell alcohol on eBay.
Oh wait, no, yeah. What are you saying? No, I think you just
Wine bid probably. I bet you find a wine bid.
Wine bid. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we have some. You have another little bit of
Oh yeah, we haven't even got
not
there
even
yet.
hospitality news.
Yeah, it is.
It very much affects hospitality, is what I'll say. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll hand it off to
restaurant
you.
hospitality.
Yeah.
Finally, after all this time, if you work in a service industry that is heavily, that's like, works on
Mhm.
tips, they just signed a bill that tips are going to be tax exempt until 2028.
Oh, I didn't know that until 2028 part.
That is when the
Is it the next election?
No, the next
No.
election will be. Well, it says till 2028.
Okay. Well, that's random.
Yeah.
Like what?
So, and it's a bit confusing the way it's written, but I do believe that you're just going to be able to write off up to $25,000 a year in tips.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a tax break. It's not necessarily that
Right.
you won't get taxed on them, but you'll get a. I mean,
It's
a very big tax break.
significant break.
Yeah. Especially for people that almost exclusively work on tips,
Right,
like
which are
restaurant servers
many
and stuff
people.
like that.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing, which it's always should have been like.
Oh my God, 100%. Yeah, and we'll also, I want to make it so clear, outside of any political anything, because that is not something we're here to get into, but like, yeah, I just on principle, I feel like all that other stuff aside,
Especially
100%
when
people should be able to
restaurant
keep their
workers
tips,
don't get paid. They get paid like minimum wage, right?
and many.
They get paid minimum
cases, yeah.
wage, and then they just work on tips.
Oh no,
Essentially.
yeah, totally.
So it's like
yeah, it's your livelihood,
it
and
should
you
be.
deserve
You
to
should,
take that home.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
glad that all went through.
So, I was gonna ask a question, and now I can't remember. Credit card tips. How does credit card tips work? Do those still get taxed? Because you can't really.
You get a tax break. So everything, it's going to get taxed, but at the end of the year, you write it off.
Okay.
You get to write.
I wasn't
off
sure if it was just
25,000
or not Venmo, cash tips, whatever.
You get to write out. You can claim the maximum 25,000 in tips for the year and write it off.
That's wild.
So it'll bring down your taxable income.
Yeah,
which is great.
That's as it should. Yeah, nobody should have to give away their tips, which is essentially a portion of their tips.
Which I mean, yeah, I don't.
You work hard for that.
I guess it depends on the person. Some people would be like, I'd rather just not get taxed on it, so then I can keep that money in my pocket. But then you still pay taxes at the end of the year,
right?
So
okay, yeah.
I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. So either way, I mean, it's a move in the right direction. We'll see how it all works, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot of things that went through recently that we will not talk about here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how
this whole year has been very interesting so far. Yeah. Well, all right.
Tell me your story.
Okay. Buckle up.
Can't wait.
Are you sitting down?
Yeah, now I am.
My mom always used to do that to me. She'd be like, "Are you sitting down?" I'm like, "Mother, I'm sitting.
I'm laying in bed
right in front of you." All right. Well, I was going to say, do you have a drink? Good, because you're going to need one. So, speaking of another Netflix show, so I don't know when this series of like Trainwreck episodes, like this, it's a train. The series is called Trainwreck.
Never even heard of it. I thought it was just a standalone documentary.
No. So so also, spoiler alert, before we started recording today, we were just watching this episode, and we're not going to cover here because it's not totally relevant to what we talk about here on the podcast, but the American Apparel episode. So we literally just watched that. And so it's like Trainwreck, American Apparel, whatever the title of the episode was. So this that I'm going to cover is Trainwreck, the Poop Cruise. Yes. So we were talking about this the other day.
If you were on this, please write in.
Oh my God.
And tell us your story.
If somehow this message reaches you, like
I would love
to talk to you.
Your firsthand account of the Poop
Cruise. God, yes. So basically, we were talking about this. I had been seeing like the previews and stuff for it. I was like, that sounds like an absolute clusterfuck. Because I remember, I'm dying to watch. I
remember hearing about this cruise ship that was stuck off the coast. Blah blah blah.
You know what's so funny?
I didn't really think anything of it.
I don't really remember this, honestly.
Oh, really?
Granted, this was 2013 now, so I'm sure I did hear about it. Just I don't know.
I remember.
It just escaped.
I remember
memory.
hearing about it. I remember like there's a cruise ship stuck off in like the coast somewhere. And I was like,
it's a long time ago now. Actually, now that I say that, that's 11 years ago.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
sounds strange.
Yeah. Buckle up because I'm going to tell you about it.
Can't wait.
You excited? Okay. And by the way, you guys, if you haven't seen this yet, I mean, definitely go watch it. I'm going to essentially tell you the entire story today, but it is really interesting hearing from the specific, I don't know, just from people being interviewed. I will be as descriptive as I can, but like it is something that you need to kind of like also see to believe. And it's just wild. So, all right. So let's set the scene. It is February
2013.
2013.
Great
Nearly
year.
4,200 people
On the
are
ship?
on, yeah,
What ship was it? Was it Carnival?
Carnival Triumph
Nice.
out of Galveston, Texas.
Classic
This
Galveston.
thing leaves. Okay. So it's supposed to be a 4-day getaway to Cozumel, Mexico. And for the first day,
Sounds fun to
that
me.
is exactly what they got. Things were fine. People were enjoying their drinks, all you can eat buffet. The
For the first
foods.
4 days.
Just,
For the first.
it was supposed to be a 4-day cruise.
Okay.
So everything was fine on the first day.
Okay.
It was like
First day's good.
smooth sailing. Everything was fine.
Only 4 days in this. Oh my gosh.
I know, but think about, Galveston, Texas to
Yeah,
Mexico. That's not.
it's
My
not that
mom's
far.
been on really short cruises before.
I know,
too.
but like so much that went wrong in 4 days.
Oh, yes.
That's crazy.
Oh, yes.
4 days.
Yes. Well, it was 5.
Shit.
It ended up being 5 total, but yes, we'll get there. So, people are just like doing all the activities. Like there's something to do everywhere you
Shuffleboard.
look, like, yeah, literally.
Gambling.
Honestly, we've talked about this on the podcast, and actually we can talk a little bit more about this at the end, but
Buffets.
it's one of the things that just does not appeal to me about cruises. The amount of people in the pools on this ship. Oh, it just
They're so big.
it was just icky. I don't know.
The cruise ships are so big.
I know.
They
Yet
have
it
more than
still
one
seemed
pool.
no, of course, but like some of the video, I don't know, that you see from it just looks packed, and like, can you imagine the people peeing in the pool? I don't know. It's a little.
Yeah, it
It's a little packed for me.
doesn't seem
We're
sanitary.
just more land people. I don't know. I love the ocean, love the water, but for
Imagine
me, I'm just like, ugh.
where all that poop goes. 4,200 people.
Oh well,
on one
this
ship.
is.
That's
You just wait.
man.
So, in the early hours of February 10th, so, wow, okay, so wait, no, the timeline's a little bit crazy. But anyway, so basically will be going on the second day of the cruise, so 2 days in. A fire breaks out in one of the engine rooms.
So was this cruise? It was a nonstop from Texas to Mexico. They weren't stopping anywhere.
That's how I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
So then I don't know if they would have like
Takes
spent
4
4
days,
days
yeah,
down
'cause
there, or they would maybe
they
like
gotta
bop
go
around
down
a
and
little
around.
bit.
I
But
get ya.
anyway, yeah. So yeah, I don't know the exact logistics in that regard, but basically, so this fire breaks out in one of the engine rooms. Now, this is not like a little like toaster fire situation, right? This is like an electrical fire that knocked out the ship's propulsion system.
Oh, okay.
That is not something you want to lose. Spoiler
No,
alert.
you can't go forward
Exactly.
or reverse.
Yeah,
or
it's not
any
good.
direction.
So here's where it gets interesting. So you would think a cruise ship of this size has some pretty robust contingency plans, which it does, and mostly learn from Titanic, right? But
Too soon.
somehow, it's always too soon. Yeah. But anyway, so the fire disabled multiple systems when this all broke out, including the engines, most of the power, and very crucially in this case, the plumbing. So now many things are not working and are gone, but now the toilets especially are gone. Air conditioning, also gone. The refrigeration for the food, also gone. Communication systems, spotty at best, but like essentially
Nobody has service out there, huh?
also gone. No, that comes back into play later. So the Triumph became
crazy.
what passengers would later call a floating petri dish.
I'd imagine.
Ew.
So much fluid.
Yeah. So here's
Ugh.
okay. So taking a step back, just imagine this, right? So you're on vacation, you are stuck at sea, and at first, how I understood it, the toilets would still at least flush to some degree, but now with all of this happening, the toilets stop flushing.
Okay.
Okay. So nothing can go down. It's all just
Sure.
kind of like bubbling back up to the
Piling
surface.
up.
And it's not just your toilet, it's everyone's toilet.
4,200 people's toilet.
Right, exactly. So because the plumbing was out, waste started backing up very, very quickly. So also, I have to an aside. So there's this cruise director. Her name is Jen Baxter. It's so cute too because the people like interviewed in this documentary like love her. She has a very distinct. I think she might be from England. I'm sorry, I can't remember where exactly she's from. But anyway, she's like super boisterous, really fun. She like loved her job. She was interviewed in this too. Anyway, but everyone kind of joked that like you knew Jen's voice. So she was kind of like a little bit of master of ceremonies, whatever. So She was the one that was kind of a little bit of the voice to all of this. So either in person or over the PA systems and stuff, right? So fast forward, this is all happening. And they're like, okay, well, we got to figure out like what do you do for these things? You know, you can't flush number 1 or number 2 down the toilet. So what do we do? So passengers were instructed to stop using toilets. So they're just like, oh, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah, what?
So, you know, like literally, I think she even said like, you know, okay, yeah, men in theory could like pee off the,
Yeah, you pee in the
you
ocean.
know, thing. Women, we can't really do that, at risk of falling off the freaking boat. And also, what do you do for number 2, right? So
the hover.
So, well, so originally, so they were told to do number 1. They were told to pee in the shower because I guess the whole thing there was like, okay, well, that can still go down. You don't have to like flush that, right? So still gross, but like, okay, you can do it.
There was no water, right?
No.
Yeah.
So then they distributed red biohazard bags for people to poop in. And that is when I was about to say shit started getting real. No pun intended, but so literally they basically had to
poop in a bag.
Poop in a bag. Yeah. And you should
How
have
big
heard
were these bags?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
did you only get one?
You know. No. I'm sure there were y'all got many, but yeah, they basically like delivered these red biohazard bags. They would be affectionately known later as pooped bags. So yeah, that was essentially the plan until they could get all of this figured out,
That's
right?
day 2.
Yeah, this is all like all day 2, I'm pretty sure. Day 2, day 3, maybe.
Oh,
so things obviously continued to get worse. The hallways started reeking of sewage.
Oh.
There were reports of brown liquid bubbling up through the shower drains.
Oh.
Right? So it was going down at first, but then, you know, it just continued getting
so many people.
So from that, the carpets, of course, started getting soaked and stained. And so with all of this, as I mentioned, you know, the air conditioning's out, whatever.
Yeah, so hot.
So people started bringing their mattresses out to the decks and like sleeping on their mattresses and on the you know, deck chairs and just the ground. So they were literally making tents out of like bed sheets and what I mean, people were literally making like small little
like a
forts and like little areas, and you know, one family was over here and there was
Let me
like,
just like say
my
like
area.
how fragile the system is.
Oh,
when all you have to take away is plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
And plumbing and electricity. That's all you need to take away.
Yeah,
and it's just
scary.
Anarchy.
Yeah. Well, because then again, you know, just all the comforts are stripped of you, right? And then the food is all going bad, and I'll get to that in a second. And
just such a fragile system.
Yeah.
You can't use a toilet and you don't have electricity. It's might as well you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's
and you're
crazy.
So this is why I'm just like iffy on cruises. Like, it's not like I'll never take one or that I'm like super against them or anything, but like, okay, that happens in like, I don't know, a town, a city where you go, you can get somewhere else. You know what I mean? You're not so isolated.
Yeah.
I know this is like so rarely happens, whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is
happened, but
no. But I don't know, whatever. Can be avoided, right? So anyway, so people are doing this to just escape the smell and the heat and whatever from inside the ship. So as all of this was happening, passengers are thinking one way or another that they're still headed to Mexico.
Oh, yeah,
that
but they're not even moving.
Drifting in that way, right? Because you can still drift along, more or less.
Wherever the current takes you.
Right. So little did they know they're going. So I showed this map, right? So Mexico's south and America's north, right?
They're drifting to America.
They're drifting back north.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to Texas.
Back to Mobile, Alabama.
Hey, shout out Mobile.
That also comes into play more later. So yeah, they're headed straight for good old Alabama.
Mobile.
So in terms of food, so gross. So one of the chefs was interviewed in this too.
Yeah, they
bless his heart,
right?
Right.
Well, don't they have gas?
I don't.
They should just cook all the food at once and just fucking.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah,
it's gonna go bad either way.
I don't know. Basically, there were these, you know, massive lines because people are hungry and they want their food and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were like, we ended up waiting in line for 2 or more hours for
For, like, a
literally like
bag
a
of
soggy
chips.
sandwich
Yeah.
is what, because the chef was just like, I just had to make what I could. So you just,
Sure.
okay, you cut up onion, you put to essentially just sandwiches, right? And
Yeah.
that was like kind of all they could do. You
Yeah.
know, the refrigeration system is out. And so, yeah, at this rate, it's getting into just like survival mode, right? People are just doing everything they can.
It's
Everyone's,
crazy.
and it got so, yeah, what you were just saying about like, it's just this every man for himself mentality, right? So, but people got very territorial. They were just like, wherever they were on the deck, they were like, this is my spot. Like, get out of our spot. I'm just like, oh,
Man,
God,
it's
can you not be
literally
like a
day
bummer?
3 maybe.
Yeah. It was so funny. There was this woman who was originally from the Soviet Union, and
Sheesh.
she worked on the ship. She was part of the staff and stuff. And she was so funny. She at the beginning when they were kind of like just describing like the cruise culture and like working for it, she was just like they
Back in Soviet Russia.
well no, but she was saying like, oh my God, there's like so many people sleeping together and like it's so incestuous and like
like the
amongst the workers, she's
crew?
like, there's so much sex, like you would
No.
never believe it. Like it's so it's like, oh my God. Can you even again, if you've ever worked on a cruise ship, would love also to hear from you. But she was so funny because she was just like, now you Americans know what it's like being from like a dictatorship country.
Sure.
She's like, now you guys get
She's
it.
like, oh, yeah.
It was really funny. I liked her. She was super funny.
That's
So yeah, so obviously, like I said, with no propulsion, they were just drifting slowly and helplessly towards Alabama. So as you were saying, one of the things that the documentary does kind of a fun and interesting job of is just capturing kind of the psychology behind it, right?
Mhm.
So it was very, like you said, yeah, like, and everyone's trapped in this confined space, no bathrooms, no food, no communication, especially because I don't know how the ship's communication was. I don't think it was very good, but
Well, I mean, if it was
and
good,
everyone
they would
didn't
have had
have
someone to come rescue. Or
the whole time.
a
I could
tugboat.
not understand. Well, tugboats come into the picture in a second, but I cannot understand why they somehow didn't have another cruise ship come out. Like the whole thing was just
Well, there's no reason another cruise ship could come. Like, even if a cruise ship did come, like, you can't put that many people on another ship.
right. Well, and there's
You had to
I'm
be
gonna
able
mention
to
that
like
in a second.
pull the ship to where you need to go.
Right. It just felt like it took too long for action to be taken.
Yeah.
And this whole time, mind you, news is like basically Carnival had acknowledged it. They acknowledged like, yeah, we have a ship. It's kind of like out there. But it was very PR, right? And so they kind of downplayed it,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
There was no footage of what was actually going on and things. Even maybe when they released it, it wasn't that bad yet, but like it got pretty bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, chaos, there's factions, people are in just despair and they just start like
Good
kind of turning on each
Lord.
other essentially. So some
It's like Hunger
described
Games
it
up in here.
yes,
Yeah.
literally some people described it as like the social experiment gone wrong. So some of the documentary interviewers, yeah, again, they were interviewing passengers, they said it like it became the Hunger Games meets Survivor meets an elementary school bathroom emergency drill.
That's super crazy. Humans are
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know. We're actually so crazy. So people were setting up makeshift bathrooms using buckets, shower caps, and plastic bags. Others just literally went in corners because what else are you going to do? I also remember this is such a visual. I almost feel like I need to like just warning. I won't say what food the chef said it reminded him of, but essentially he found this like random bathroom, like a public bathroom, right, not in someone's room, but people essentially had just started going like on the floor, covering it with toilet paper, and then they would like go on top of it, cover it with toilet paper, cover it on top of it. It was just like layers upon layers of just feces.
Like lasagna.
I was really trying not to
Gross.
say it. It was really funny, not to like totally skip to the end, but this isn't.
Poop
This
lasagna.
doesn't.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, this doesn't spoil anything, but it was funny whether or not this is a joke. But they were like, and he can never like look at a lasagna the same way again,
Oh,
or he can
man.
never eat lasagna again.
I'll
It
eat
was
the shit out of some
so
lasagna.
funny. So just horrible. And people said that they sometimes went hours or even a full day without an update on what was going on, what they were doing to resolve it. It was just this
Means
vague,
they
we're
had no
working
clue
on
what
it.
they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, literally.
They were just freaking out. They had no clue how to fix anything.
Absolute
Yeah.
poor management of the whole situation. Yeah. And the crew were also in the dark a lot of the time, they were saying. So, they're doing their best. The crew, even at the end, were really, really acknowledged because they just went so above and beyond. Like, I think someone even at the end of the documentary were like, they were not paid enough, nor was it part of their job description to handle and pick up people's feces.
Oh,
I mean,
no shot.
Yeah, it's just so bad. So anyway, they're just trying to do their best, keep things in order, but they didn't even always have, the information they needed. So as they're stuck in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, another ship does show up. So it's a sister ship, the Legend, and they stopped to help, but it was more to like give food than anything because they, like you were saying, they went over the logistical. You can't usher 4,000 plus people onto another ship. That ship would then be at capacity
so
and whatever.
many
It was, that's not going to happen. What's so messed up about that other ship? So at one point they were almost like in a T position, right? So like the Carnival one that we're talking about, what was the name of it? I can't remember. Anyway, it was like this. The other one was like getting kind of scarily close. It was like sort of backing almost like into it. But anyway, they were doing like the YMCA. They were partying. They were taking pictures.
That's hilarious.
Of the people on this like abandoned,
man.
On this ship that's not working.
Just having, like
they were just like
life.
Entertainment. It was so horrible. Like that's
so
I'd be
classic
so
humans.
So yeah, really. That's just so mean. But everyone from the ship that's not working is out on the deck trying to get reception because they're like, clearly there's not, at least from our perspective, there's no like news on this. No one really seems to be coming to help us. Like, what is going on? This does not seem, and their communications were down. They were trying to get a hold of family. They were just, and so somebody, I think from like CNN or some other news source thing, whatever, had like reported on it. But again, it was like a PR
blanket
response.
Like...
It was like what Carnival wanted people to know. Yeah. Didn't have the real story. So people finally started to get a signal from this other boat. And they were like, oh, yeah, we can finally like say something. So people are, calling loved ones, posting things, sending videos, tweeting, whatever they're doing. And it starts reaching CNN and like far beyond. Right. And so these news outlets and stuff, and everyone starts to realiage how like horrific and dire this is. Yeah.
Diarrhea.
That was way too cringy and easy. So at some point during all of this, someone makes the decision to just guess. You're not guessing as fast.
No,
as
I don't. From which side? Someone somewhere. Which side?
Okay, like
yeah,
that was
the Carnival
probably
crew,
a tough thing
from
to guess.
just a random human.
Okay, someone on the ship made a decision to open the bar and give out free drinks.
Oh, ew, why would you do that?
Well, I think
why would you give
morale was obviously really bad. They were, people were just not in a good like way and headspace and stuff. So they were like, somehow this will fix things.
Let's get the super upset people that are pooping on themselves. Let's get them drunk and upset.
Yes. So they will like fight each other, pee and poop even more.
So they'll like start throwing poop at each other like monkeys.
Essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Let's get the angry
really
people
smart.
drunk.
Get people sick. Like it's all, for sure. All good. So the people that were interviewed were like, it was the craziest, busiest, drunkest, messiest thing they'd ever seen. People are peeing off the side of the ship.
That's what I would have
People were throwing the red poop bags off of the ship and into like it. One of them, someone was saying, the chef, I think was interviewed. He was saying it like landed on one of like the lifeboats or something like that. And someone threw it back and it like landed on a lower deck of the ship and stuff. Like so gross. There was this woman, or actually this might have been a young girl actually who was interviewed. Anyway, there were some newlyweds that were just like having sex on the deck and their little, wherever they had like kind of set up camp. They were just having sex out there.
Right on.
Couldn't be bothered. There's fights breaking out.
course.
I mean, who made that call? I can't even. I don't know. But questionable,
just give them free
very
drinks.
questionable decision making.
Yeah, let's give them free alcohol. What's the worst that could happen? Bunch of idiots.
I mean, literally, this is
very
what's
poorly managed.
what's the book? It's a classic of all the boys on the island. What am I thinking of?
Lord of the Flies.
Yes, that. It's giving Lord of the Flies.
It's just very bad decision making is what it is.
So here's kind of the crux of the story, right? So finally, 2 tugboats arrive.
Good.
So you mentioned tugboats. So they start pulling the boat.
Tugging it.
One is at the front, one is at the back.
So one's pushing, one's pulling.
Sure, more or less.
Such a big boat.
But, well, okay. How it was seemingly described, hopefully I'm understanding this right. One way or another, they start pulling the boat, but they pull it in such a way that the angle of the boat starts tipping.
Oh, yeah.
So, mind you, plumbing, everything's backed up. It's like at a tipping point already.
It's all sloshing.
Can you imagine what that starts to look like?
Yeah.
So, yep, feces, pee, everything starts flooding and spilling and slushing out, even more than it already was.
No.
Everything overflowed and just kept overflowing. People would be in their room. And see, this is why you need to like watch the documentary to really understand the severity of this. But like they'd be in their room and literally you like jump out of your bed and your feet are in inches of pee and feces and whatever this
oh my God.
all matter of
That's
things
crazy.
was. Yeah. It was dripping down the walls.
Oh no.
Obvious concerns about, E. coli, salmonella, Shigella, like
everything.
The experts and stuff are weighing in. They're like, this is
oh my God.
Again, petri dish, right?
This is like the main reason why most people died in the Middle Ages.
Literally. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, a lot of the interviewees were like, you just start giving up hope that you're like ever going to get, of course they were going to get out of there, but they were like, this is unspeakably bad.
Yeah.
Right?
If I was a worker, I would have been like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to go to,
where are they going to go?
I'm going to go to like whatever part of the ship no one is and like stay there.
And
like,
just chill.
I'm not going to go anywhere. Like, I'm not going to, no.
I know.
Nope.
Yeah.
I might have jumped off the ship. Like, I'm going to swim.
They're like, I better like swimming.
How far is it? 30 miles? I got that.
Oh my God. And it was also funny. There was a Bible study that was set up by someone and people were like in this room, like praying. It was like so crazy. So, I mean, listen, you do you.
That's
good.
crazy.
You do what you got to do.
It's been like 48 hours and people are just
well, I think it's multiple days at this point. So this is probably day 3, day 4. So meanwhile, back on land, the media is finally figuring out and understanding the severity of this. It was getting much more attention. They're having a field day. Friends, family, a lot of people waiting for them back in Mobile because they were aware at this point that that's where the ship was going. Last day really dragged from what people in the documentary said. They started seeing helicopters overhead. They started understanding that was media. It wasn't necessarily like someone, come save them, but they were like, okay. But at the same time, it's like, okay, good. Media's covering it. So people are,
know.
Oh my God, they're finally paying attention. Again, it's just raining sewage at this point. People are on the deck spelling help with their bodies and trying to like wave down. Like it was, it's a catastrophe on all levels, especially a PR catastrophe.
Carnival came back from this.
Oh, I'm gonna shock you here in a moment. You're not even gonna. Okay. So, boat finally docks like 9:30 that night. Right, 5 days at sea. Obviously, lots of relief. People are very.
So they never even made it to Mexico, right?
People
they're
not
in
even
Alabama.
Nope. No.
Wow.
So people
suck.
are like getting off the boat. They're kissing the ground. It was really funny. Yeah. Again, crew was like absolutely. I can't even. Yeah. I don't know how you recover from that. So that's like essentially the story. That's how this all.
Is that all?
Came to yeah. That's essentially.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Okay.
That sounds horrific.
So this is not making me want to go on a cruise.
But
here's what I wanted to. So here's sort of the wrap up of all of this and where all, because might be wondering like, what happened to? Please tell me these people got like refunded. Like, how did this all legally?
They had to have had a refund. They had to have gotten paid like.
Okay,
more.
no, hold on. This is gonna blow your mind. Okay, so also there was a maritime lawyer interviewed in this, and he was saying, "Oh, I had this written down," and then I took it out for some reason. But there's over like 2 years, there were like some failures or something that had been like noted or accounted for. So it's like these things should have been more checked. You know what I mean? Like there was kind of a history of failures like this happening.
Sure.
So it was like almost a little bit of a matter of time type situation.
It's like, yeah.
So here's the crazy part. I was like shook by this. So customers cannot actually sue Carnival based on like the fine print of their ticket.
Really?
So basically, here's a little snippet of what the fine print of what they essentially agreed to when they bought the ticket. Carnival essentially makes absolutely no guarantee for safe passage, a seaworthy vessel, adequate and wholesome food, and sanitary and safe living conditions.
Bro.
I know.
Whoever put that in there,
What?
he's sitting there just like, told
Cashing
you.
in. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
So
who would have ever thought to add that to
I know, isn't that insane?
ticket
Way to cover
agreement?
your ass. And who reads that fine print?
No, but like
That's
you
how
just assume
companies get away with stuff.
you just
I swear.
assume like you pay to go. I mean, I don't know. Like
You
that's such a
assume- those
strange
are-
thing to like not. I mean,
They
I guess
want
you can't
zero liability.
guarantee it, obviously, but
Right.
like
I know.
if a rogue wave hits your ship, like that's the way it goes.
Right. Is there like a force majeure? You
But
know,
like if the
how-
electricity goes off and people are pooping on each other, like that's a bit different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things fail.
Good for Carnival.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to save, this one point for very last. Passengers were given a full refund.
Oh.
I know. So nice.
Bless them.
Full refund, transportation expenses, and a $500 payment, and were offered another free cruise, which I don't know. That'd be really quick to take. Carnival also carried out a fleet-wide safety upgrade aimed at preventing engine room fires. Good for you. Should have happened in the first place. They've also changed their terms and conditions to remove that previous passage that I just mentioned.
Really?
Yes. So it's not in there
Interesting.
anymore. So
I wonder
all
if
of
that
those
was
things
like
are
not allowed to put in there.
it was probably such a like it got so many people on a technicality, but like I don't know. That's so shady. That's so shady.
Yeah.
Their lawyers, whoever it was, it's so wrong. It's so unethical, but like how smart. Because now nobody can freaking sue them. Isn't that crazy?
It's such an
but I
interesting
think-
thing to have as like a
Yeah.
asterisk.
But I think I was reading somewhere where some people I think did try and sue. So I don't know. There could be more on that. So don't like totally quote me on this whole thing. There might be some people who were successful. I don't know. But this was just like at the very like end credits in the documentary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or like at the very end, this is how they were describing things. So if there were some people that did sue and happened to be successful, that might be the case.
Nice.
This part is the grossest to me. So $115 million was spent cleaning, repairing, and refitting the Triumph.
They
this
reused
fucking
the ship.
And it now sails under a new name, Carnival Sunshine.
No fucking way would I ever get on that
Is
ship.
that not the most
That's
disgusting thing?
ridiculous.
I guess it must be cheaper to have done that than build a whole new.
Oh, yeah. Building one of those ships is
I
billion.
wonder how much that costs.
Billion.
As you think it's billion. Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
tracks. I mean, given how much is on it. Isn't that
yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
So gross.
That's wild.
So
wonder how many people know that.
Well, because of this document, it was in the documentary. It was
So
in
is
like
the Triumph, and now it's what, the
the
Sunshine?
Carnival Sunrise.
Sunrise.
Like,
Gross.
that name is just like Sunrise, New Beginnings. Like that's just
I
so
know.
wrong to me. That's so gross.
Crazy.
I can't listen. If y'all like Carnival cruises, fine, you do you. But I will not be going on one anytime soon.
Interesting.
It just does not. It doesn't appeal to me for a lot of reasons, and this is just that's so nasty. I mean, I am assuming, and God hoping that they somehow gutted it, and
Well, yeah, I'm sure they tore it apart and redid
but I mean, but
everything.
it like that stuff is everywhere. You know what I mean? Like that sewage and everything. It's more than just the floors. It was like, again, on the walls.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
yeah, they probably tore it apart
oh my God.
and
I
redid
mean,
all the rooms.
115 million is not a small amount of money.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm sure
they
was
probably
torn apart,
tore
but
it all apart.
You could tear that thing apart. I still won't get on
They
it.
brought it down to essentially the studs and then
Yeah.
rebuilt it essentially.
Yep.
Everything but the ship.
Yep.
But I wonder if the employees got anything.
It doesn't even say that.
Mm.
They should.
Yeah, hazard
Should
pay.
have. I hope so. Yeah. Oh no, they.
Wonder how many people got pink eye.
God, they deserve something. I know. They don't really talk about that. Nobody, at least from the interviews that they did, got sick, as far as I know. I mean, I'm sure they would have.
There had to have
if they
been people that
did.
got sick. There had to have been.
Oh, I know. I don't know how they wouldn't, or have maybe some long-lasting effects of it. I don't know.
There had to have been people. That
There
got sick.
wasn't. Yeah, there totally could be that. If anybody came forward later on, and it just wasn't. In
There's
the
just too many
documentary,
people, 4,200 people to
but I
like
know.
with that amount of shit
be
everywhere, like
exposed
to
to,
not
like-
get sick. Like, come on,
Literal shit. Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm. And that
Well,
is the story of the poop cruise
of the
and the Carnival
Triumph,
Yep. Nay.
aka
Nay. No, what is it?
Carnival
It's
Sunrise.
Carnival Sunrise. Nay. Triumph.
Mm,
Yeah.
rough.
So disturbing. I know. It was a fun watch. It was, well, fun is maybe a strong word, but it was enlightening
Ugh, so gross.
for no other reason. I don't know. But I'm
Sorry
curious.
if you were trying to eat while listening.
I know. By any
You're just slamming your
chance,
Taco Bell in your car.
your
and
lasagna.
you're just like,
So nasty. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. That's not a reason I was ever deterred by cruises. I just, I just kind of like being on the line. I'm sure the views and stuff are very pretty. I think maybe at one point they were saying that maybe Mexico was in view, so I think they were like hopeful. But I think without the propulsion, it just, you know what I mean?
Sure.
The fact that it drifted in Mobile, Alabama just absolutely
so funny.
cracks me up.
Just the
Of all places.
icing on the
like,
cake.
I know. Like, just horrible. Oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is that all we got? I think
That was
that's all we got.
that was
a fun story.
great story.
I know. Thank you. Well, anyway, you guys, we'd love to hear from you. Actually, do you love cruises? Do you hate cruises? Are you grossed out by cruises now? I'm very curious. Yeah, I don't know that we're itching to go on one anytime soon, but
Not anymore.
if it has some redeeming qualities, please let us know. The thought of like, kind of the unlimited food, the
I don't know. I know people that love cruises.
things. Yeah, I get it. I totally get the draw.
I would do a river
But-
cruise.
Yes. Oh, we've talked about this in another episode. I think we were talking about going, was it the Danube? What's the one that goes,
Danube is Austria.
the one that goes through Budapest
Yeah,
and
that's the
stuff? Because
Danube.
I've been to Budapest. It's
I
gorgeous.
think a river
I would
cruise
love
would be cool. Like
that, or go through
one of the
France or
Viking
whatever.
river
Ugh.
cruises or whatever. That one's just like the biggest one that I know of, but there's a
Yeah.
bunch of other ones that you could,
I feel like that's for older audience.
different. I don't know. That's the only one I can think of. But you can just go on a river, go on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the Mosel, or you can go
Just to see some, yeah, it'd be very
up
pretty
through
from the water. Oh, what's
north.
you're gonna laugh at me because this is the only reference I have. And I'm blanking on the name. The river. Oh, was it the Nile? Oh, it's the Nile. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I was
being
laughing.
the longest river in the world.
Yeah. Well, I was like, for some reason, I
Actually,
can't
that
even
might be the
explain my
Amazon.
process.
I can't remember.
But the Murder on the Nile or whatever, the movie
Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile.
Yeah.
That we with the
That's a cool ship.
Poirot.
I'd go on that.
Oh God, I'd go on that in a heartbeat.
That'd be cool.
I'm dying to go to
Egypt.
Egypt one day. I've heard some iffy things on it. I don't know. Not a lot of good things to say. I'm just seeing a lot on social media that there's not a lot of good things to say about it lately, but I still want to.
That's for another
I know
episode.
that's a different conversation. But anyway, we'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know if you've watched this episode and
or lived it.
or lived it, please. Yeah, we would love to talk to you. But anyway, all right. That's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Taste of Travel, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us and tuning into the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. We really appreciate you being here and hope you're enjoying these honest conversations about all things sipping, savoring, and seeing the world. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, we would truly appreciate a rating or a review on whatever platform you're tuning in on, so fellow foodies, Epicureans, and travel enthusiasts can enjoy this content too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a follow at Taste Toast Travel. We'll see you in the next episode.